A warm welcome to all of Professor Eduardo Paolucci's students. In this explainer, we're going to crack open the strategist's playbook and take a close look at Unit 3, Strategic Analysis and Selection. So let's just dive right in. How does a business choose its future? I mean, when you boil it all down, strategy is really about making choices. But how do you make the right ones? We're going to explore some powerful frameworks that help companies go from just thinking about their situation to actually taking decisive action. Here's our game plan. We're going to walk through 5 key areas. We'll start with turning analysis into an action plan, then look at the 3 levels of strategy, talk about how to compete, explore strategies for growth, and finally wrap up with defensive and functional moves. Okay, first things first. Any good strategy has to start with a clear, honest look at the world around you, both inside the company and out in the marketplace. And the classic starting point, the one you've probably heard of, is the SWOT analysis. The best way to think about it is like a company's annual health checkup. It's a quick, clear snapshot of exactly where things stand right now. Now, what's really important to see on this slide is that fundamental split. On one side, you have the internal stuff, your strengths and weaknesses. These are things the company can, for the most part, control. And on the other side, you have the external world, the opportunities and threats, which are forces you have to react to. And you know, this is exactly where a lot of companies get stuck. An analysis is great, but what's the plan? A diagnosis is pretty much useless without a prescription, right? Just knowing you have strengths and weaknesses isn't enough. You need an action plan. And that is precisely where the CAME analysis comes into play. CAME is basically the so what to your SWOTs. It's the tool that turns that diagnosis into action, giving you 4 very clear objectives. Correct your weaknesses, adapt to the threats, maintain your strengths, and exploit the opportunities. And here is where it all clicks together. It's a simple matching game. You take your strengths and you line them up with opportunities to create strategies to exploit the situation. You look at your weaknesses and use opportunities to develop corrective strategies. When your powerful strengths run up against external threats, you need adaptive strategies. And in the toughest spot, where your weaknesses meet threats, well, that's when you're playing for survival. Okay, let's keep building this out, because strategy isn't just a single decision. It's really more like a layered game plan with 3 distinct levels that all have to work together. So way up at the top, you have corporate strategy. This is asking the huge questions, like what industries should we even be playing in? Then you drop down a level to competitive strategy, which gets more specific. Okay, in this industry, how are we going to win? And finally, you have functional strategy, which makes sure every single department, marketing, finance, you name it, is pulling in the same direction to make it all happen. All right, now we're getting to the heart of it all, competitive strategy. The legendary strategist Michael Porter basically argued that when you boil everything down, there are really only 3 fundamental ways for a company to win. First up, there's cost leadership. This is all about radical efficiency. The goal is to become the lowest cost producer in your industry so you can win over a huge market with the best price. Think about a no-frills Bic pen or a flight on Southwest Airlines. It's not about luxury, it's all about value. The second move is the polar opposite. It's differentiation. Here, you're not trying to be the cheapest. You're trying to be unique. Companies like Nike or BMW pour everything into creating a special brand image or an innovative design or a quality that customers are more than willing to pay extra for. And the third move is focus. This is not about trying to serve everyone. No way. This is about picking a very specific slice of the market, a niche, and just completely owning it. Think Rolex or Ferrari. They're not for everybody, and that's the entire point. They serve their small customer base better than anyone else possibly could. So let's say a company has figured out its competitive position. It's a cost leader or it's a differentiator. Great. What's the very next question that comes up in every single boardroom? You guessed it. How do we grow? To help answer that question, we can turn to a fantastic tool called the Ansoff Matrix. It gives us a really simple but super powerful way to map out the 4 main paths to growth. This matrix just lays out the 4 options for you. You can sell more of your current stuff to your current customers. That's called market penetration. You could take your existing products and find new groups of people to sell them to. That's market development. You could create new products for the customers who already love you. That's product development. Or the riskiest move of all, you could create brand new products for totally new markets. And that's called diversification. But look, strategy isn't always about charging ahead and growing. A complete playbook also needs to have defensive moves for when times get tough and a clear plan to make sure every part of the company is on the same page. These are the crucial defensive plays you can make. A company might form a joint venture to share risk with a partner. It might go through downsizing to get leaner and more efficient. In more serious trouble, it might have to use divestment, which means selling off a part of the business. And as a final last resort, there's liquidation, selling everything to pay off the debts. And finally, we absolutely cannot forget the functional strategies, because you could have the most brilliant competitive strategy in the world. But if your day-to-day teams in marketing, in operations, in finance, if they aren't all aligned to support it, it is going to fail. Period. Every department needs its own strategy that serves the bigger corporate goal. The big takeaway here is that these frameworks aren't just academic theory. They are the invisible forces shaping the business world all around you. So the next time you buy a coffee, or pick up a phone, or book a flight, stop and ask yourself, now that I have the playbook, what strategic move do I see in action right here?